Today we are going to be learning about the inverse operation with base 10 blocks. Our goal today is I can use the inverse operation to do subtraction and addition problems, and you'll know you're successful today when you can use the inverse operation to check your answer with subtraction and addition. So the inverse operation has to do with inverses or signs, and my sign or my inverse is adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. And today we're subtracting and then adding, of course. So the inverse operation is whenever I switch that sign and do a related problem by using the same numbers in that problem, but they're going to be in a different order since I'm using a different sign or inverse. So again, inverses are those signs that we use whenever we add, subtract, multiply, or divide. And whenever I subtract, today when you use the inverse operation, I'm going to add. If I were adding, I would use the inverse operation to subtract, because adding and subtracting are related. First, we are going to do 423 minus 288. So I'm going to show you my number 423 with my base 10 blocks. So I will show you that we have 4 hundreds, and we have 2 tens, and we have 3 ones. And remember, we're only representing that number 423 right now. And then we have to take away what's after the minus sign. So now I have to take away 288. But right away I'm seeing a problem. I have 8 ones in that number 288. But how many ones do I have in front of me? I only have 3 ones in front of me. That's not enough. So I need to do some regrouping. And I need to trade out my 10 stick for 10 ones. And that way I'll be able to take away that full 8. So my 10 stick is gone. And if I could rip it apart, it would look something like this when I am all done. Right now I have 5, 7, 9, and then 10. Okay, so that's the same as my 10 stick, but now just broken all apart, and now I can actually take away 8. So remember, I have 3 right here. So if I split my 8 in my ones place into a 3, because I'm going to take away 3, what would be left over to make 8? A 3 and a what make 8? A 3 and a 5. So I can take 5 away from that 10 stick that we broke apart. And that is going to be the ones that I have left over. So I'm done figuring out about my ones, okay? And now I need to look at my tens. How many tens do I need to take away? I need to take away 8 or 80 away, but I'm noticing I have another problem. I only have 10. I don't have 80. So what do? I go over to the next place value, which would be my hundreds, and now I have to trade out my hundreds for tens, okay? So how many tens make up 100? If I count, I can see that there's 10 across, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yes, 10 tens make 100. So that's what we're going to do. If I could break that apart into my sticks of 10. So far I have 40, and now I have 60, and now I have 80, and now, oops, I have 100. So if I lined that all up perfectly, oops, then you would be able to see that it's exactly the same as that 100 that we just had. If I put it on top, you can see they are equal. They are the same. But now I can actually break it apart and work with it because we have to regroup. So I have 80. Well, remember, I still have a 10, so I can't take that away. If I split my 80, because that's in the tens place, into a 10, what would be left over to make 80? A 10 and a 70 make 80, okay? And so I'll take away 10, and now I have to take away 70, or how many 10 sticks would that be? That would be 7 10 sticks. So I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Yep, that's 7 sticks of 10. They're gone. And now I have what's left over of my 10s. I'll just move them over here. That way it's kind of separated. And now I need to take away my hundreds. So how many hundreds can I take away? 2. Oh, and can I do that? Right now I have 300s. So yes, I can take 2 away from 3. So those are gone. And now what is my difference, or what is my answer? 135. 135. That is my difference, or my answer to my subtraction problem. And now I'm going to show you what you can do to check your answer with the subtraction problem by using the inverse operation. And so remember, with inverse operation, subtraction was my inverse. And so I'm going to change my inverse to a plus. And then we will be able to see how those problems are related. So I'm going to turn this back around. I am going to get rid of our model for right now because we won't need that for this part. And I'm just going to erase my splitting, that way things are not getting too confusing. And the inverse operation. Since subtraction is related to addition, that's going to be when I use my inverse operation. Okay? If I was doing multiplication, then I would use division because those inverses are related. But we are not multiplying or dividing today. We're subtracting, so I'm going to use a plus sign for my inverse operation. And I am going to use these same numbers for the problem as I did when I subtracted. So when I subtract, my big number, or like my total, is first in the problem. But when I add, my total is usually my answer, right? It always is my answer. So my total is my big number. So 423 is going to go after that equal sign. And so now, to make my addition problem, I just need to fill it in with my two smaller numbers. And it does not matter when I add what order that is in, but I will do the bigger number first. But I could do 135 first if I wanted to. 288 plus 135 equals our total of 423. Okay, that's the same as saying 423 minus 288 is 135. It's the same type of problem, but I'm using the inverse operation, okay? And rather than taking away, that's what it would look like if I was adding. So I'm going to just make sure that I'm true with this, okay? Because I am going to use the inverse operation to check my answer, to make sure I subtracted right. And by checking my answer, I'll do the addition. And I'm going to use the algorithm today because that's something that we are going to be working on. And I want you to see me checking my answer by using the algorithm. And like I said, we will be working on the algorithm a lot more with 3-digit numbers, so you will get to practice this. 8 plus 5, remember I always start with my ones place. 8 plus 5 is 13. Okay, so I carry my 1. And then I have 1 plus 8 plus 3. I'm going to combine my 1 and 8 together to make a 9. So that would be like 9 plus 3, and 9 plus 3 is 12. So again, I have to carry my 1. And then I have 1 plus 2 plus 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, so what's 3 plus 1? It's 4. 423. Well, that's our total. So did I do my work right? Was it correct? Yes, it was. I have 423. I have 135. I have 288. And I also have all of those same numbers in my subtraction problem. They're just in a different order because, of course, when I subtract, I start with my total. And when I add, I end with my total. For our last problem for today, I'm going to have us practice 604 minus 156. So this would be a great time for you to try this on your own because we have done our base 10 blocks strategy before, and I want to see if you know how to use the inverse operation to check your answer when we're done. Okay, so this is a great time to pause. If your teacher wants to pause and have you do this together, that would be great. If you're at home, please pause and try this on your own and check and see if your work matches mine. Okay, go to the next video for part 2.